Alright, welcome. This is Pokemon Yellow, Blue and Red. I'm playing Yellow version, but this is where all the item finder item locations are. From count, I think there was 50 exactly from memory. First one is its potion on the tree, which is quite an early one you can get. What I am doing on this, I am using a clip through walls cheat so I can avoid trainer battles just to speed the process up. There's an antidote in Vermilion forest. There's also another potion in here as well. And you will realise that I have got Pikachu with Surf and Fly. Again, that's just to speed the process up because I'm not actually playing the game, I'm just going to show you where all the hidden items are. So right before this trainer battle, you can get a potion from that tile just in front of him. I play this on an emulator, and I also use an Xbox 360 controller, and I've configured my R triggers to speed the game up as well. I could skip him, but it's only going to take a second to beat Brock, especially with Surf. So from here, the next hidden item is actually in Mount Moon, and if you do see the mouse pop up on the screen here and there, it's because I'm toggling on and off the clip through walls. Gen 1 is pretty broken, so when you activate stuff that the game isn't meant to do, it can do some weird stuff. It can make your character walk continuously. It can make the game crash, it can do all sorts of stuff, so you need to be sparingly sometimes, like when you're using Game Shark codes and all that on this. So the first item in Mount Moon is this one in this rock. It's an ether. And there's one more in Mount Moon, which is actually a moonstone. I didn't actually know about this one when I was a kid, and I wish I did. I would have skipped over this one so many times, thinking that, because you can actually pick up a moonstone in here, like this is like a normal ground item that you'd see, and I'd only have like the one moonstone to evolve a Nidorina or a Nidorino before actually knowing about that moonstone. Because for Nidoking to get Thrash and Nidoqueen to get Body Slam, you have to evolve them before like level 22 or something. Memory, that was a great ball on there. So I will pause every now and then because I did have a list when I was recording through this. I've got a written list of what items are where, so I didn't miss anything. There's a rare candy outside of this one of, I think there's about 12 or 13. I think it's 12. I think there's 12 rare candies in the game. And I did do that second rival battle, or third if you count the non-mandatory one, but there's an elixir, and there's one more up here. There's an ether in one of the tiles by the fence. Did anyone ever hear about the Bill's Garden theory? In that little patch behind his house, there was a theory when these games came out that you could catch rare Pokemon there. When I say rare, I mean like Charizards, Dragonites, which, I mean, ultimately turned out to be very false, of course. So this bit here, I mean, most of you watching this have probably played the game already. But that's just getting the SS ticket so I can get on the boat, which in theory with walkthrough walls you don't need to get, but I'll pick up the items somewhat in order as the game goes. So in the underground there was that full restore right by the stairs there, and there's an X special here with the underground path. I just kind of mash A as I move. I I can't call how many times like you gotta walk like necessary amount of tiles. I'll just hold down and just click out on every square until I finally get it. I know what row they're on. And entering and exiting the buildings like I do there is to undo a cheat code. So this is what actually happened here. I used Surf with the cheat on, and Pikachu would surf just on his own. I wasn't actually controlling it until I ran into that trainer, which is lucky because eventually, if I just kept going, eventually it would have just crashed the game. So you do need Surf to get that one, but there is a max ether on that little house there. Technically you do need to have gotten to the Safari Zone to get that one, but just make a note of it if you haven't got Surf yet. There's a great ball in that trash. I did hit my speed up button sometimes when I pick up these items. You might not actually see the text on the video. So next one, when you go to the right from Vermilion City, there's a sort of like a field where there's a bunch of trainer battles. There's an escape rope in that little tree there. And there is a hyper potion to the right of that building, which I actually didn't get at this point when I was doing my videos, so I haven't forgotten about it. So back to Cerulean. The next part here is to go on through to Rock Tunnel. There is one item in that tree. I just walked past it. I'm just sticking to the game's normal path to make it easier to find the item. So from here, the next one is outside of Rock Tunnel. You actually need Cut to get this one, but I'm not gonna bother catching a Pokemon and teaching it Cut. It's just to the right of the entrance of Rock Tunnel. Now from here, there's actually no hidden items inside Rock Tunnel, which there's no pickup items either, which I always found really odd. You think a part of the game like that would have at least pickup items on the floor, but there's literally none, and there's no hidden items, which is a little bit peculiar. So this is where you exit Rock Tunnel, and there's a max ether in that little tree there. That one's, I always got that one when I was a kid. That one was a bit too obvious that it was gonna be there. You look for little trees and little pathways, little dead-end pathways. It's sort of like the giveaway of where they are. And does anyone know the theory that your rival doesn't use his Raticate is because it got killed on the SSM when you battled him the last time? Always found that to be an interesting theory. I mean, the likelihood is that he just stopped using Raticate because there's an elixir on, I think it's the 5th floor Pokemon Tower, but I mean, he probably just stopped using Raticate because it just wasn't that strong. To be fair though, Raticate's not actually that bad. He's not fantastic, but he's not bad. It's not as bad as like some of the weaker Pokemon in this, like Lickitung and Farfetch and all that. So usually from here you can go on through an underground path and you get to Celadon City. Now there's 2 more items in this underground path. There's one going across the very bottom row of the underground path. I think from memory it was a nugget. No, elixir. And the other one is on that second path from the top, which hits a nugget. So going over to Celadon City, there's a PP up in a little sort of like dead end path. And from here, the Rocket Hideout has 3 hidden items. You need to beat this trainer to unlock the staircase, but there's a PP up in that tree, and there's one to the right of where you pick up TM10, which isn't actually this way. I don't think about it now. That leads to that little empty room. It's down the stairs and through this trainer. So there's TM10, one step to the right you pick up a nugget. The last item in here is a super potion, which is behind Giovanni in one of those, like, I think they're meant to be lockers or something, or old computers or something. But to get to Giovanni you do need the lift key if you're not going to clip through the walls. And funny thing is, like, if you don't battle Team Rocket at Mount Moon, you still get the text that comes up saying that you humiliated them at Mount Moon, which is nice. So there's the super potion. Giovanni's he's an odd character. I'd like to know his background in some of the roles. There's been theories that he's actually your trainer's dad. Or he's actually Professor Oak's right-hand man, and Professor Oak is actually the villain, which is why he wants you to go and do the Pokédex, because he says that he's too old and he can't do it, but he's actually not too old, because you see like old trainers around the map all the time. He's just too busy running a criminal enterprise, so he has to get a kid to collect all the information on Pokemon so he can, pretty much control the world with Pokemon, because he's got all the information in the Pokédex now since your trainer's done it, which is why the Professor Oak battle was programmed into the game. It's just a theory, it's not fact or anything, but just fun little things, peculiar things about these early Pokemon games. And yeah, you can get that Professor Oak battle to happen. It is programmed into the game's code. To do it on cartridge, before that, Cycling Road is horrible for trying to find its hidden items. Even to this day, I've found them that many times, but actually pinpointing where they all are, it gets me every time. There's 5 on here. We've got the rare candy in the grass and that forest door there. Now there's one a little bit south of that guy on the bike, and it's like 10 or so steps south of him, that PP up. The last 2 on here there's one, it's not actually in the fence, it's actually on the path, like it's just to the right where I am now. But yeah, I always forget exactly where this one is when I'm trying to find it. And there is one more, from memory, it's a max potion, which again always confuses me, and I don't have the item finder. I've only got Pikachu. You need 30 Pokemon to get the item finder, and I didn't actually bother to get it, since I kind of know where everything is, besides cycling path that sometimes just takes me. Yeah, you got to find that middle bike path where it sort of corners off, and there's a was it max potion or was it max revive? Max revive, which are unique items because you can't actually buy them at the Pokemon. Oh, and yeah, it's known, but the Cycling Road thing, because of the way the frames work in Gen 1, you can actually just walk past a guard if you hop down left while he's talking. And he says, like, you can't go onto the path without a bike. You just hold left and your trainer just walks past him. So there's a revive on that pedestal, that far bottom right one, and then I accidentally hit my fast forward and I clipped out of the game map. That's why my game crashed. but there's a revive just outside the warden's house where you get surf on that pedestal. From here I came back to Vermilion City so I could go and get that hyper potion next to Snorlax, which is just in that little bit there. So going on from here, in Saffron, yeah, in Saffron there's two. I have to clip over the trainers here because you need to you actually need to defeat Giovanni and go to Pokemon Tower and rescue Mr. Fuji, which he gives you the Poké Flute to wake up Snorlax and get past Snorlaxes. So there's that nugget in Copycat's house. There's two items in here. There's one on they're on floors 4 and 9 or 5 and 9, something like that. There's one in that little tree thing which we just went past. And here, where I actually got knocked out hilariously by this trainer and had to go back, and then I thought, well, I might as well just get the card key instead of clipping over. I would assume that everyone's probably played the game before and sort of like knows what you need to do to like progress here, but just for the fun of it, and also because I got beaten by that trainer, I kind of wanted to beat him now. So yeah, it actually took me a while when I was a kid to actually work out how to get the card key, warping up and down on that tile. I remember I got stuck here for a while before I could actually figure out how to actually progress the game. So after beating him, it's on the bed to the left. This is floor 9. The other one, it's either floor 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly, but it's in those little trees. So from those two in Sylph Company, the next sort of place you access is Cinnabar Island. So you can go to Cinnabar. Yeah, there's two more in. Now, just here, if you don't enter that building, the sprites get confused and they just have your trainer as the sprite because the game hasn't like loaded what trainer sprites are meant to be in, which I always found quite funny. Like, your trainer's a placeholder until you enter that little building. So there's a PP up and a calcium along this little sort of like fence thing, which you just need to zigzag through to make your way down there. From here, you can do Cinnabar Island. You can also go to the power plant at this stage if you've already got surf from Fuchsia City in the Safari Zone. The power plant, and you can also go to Seafoam Islands. You can catch Articuno and Zapdos. So there's two in here. There's a Max Elixir and what's the other one? Was it a PP up? I think it was a PP up. It's kind of near the end. It's not far away from Zapdos. Yeah, PP up. And so from here, the next spots will be either Cinnabar Island or Seafoam Islands. I mean, I'll go to Seafoam Islands now. Now, Seafoam Islands, to this day, it does not matter how many times I go through Seafoam Islands I can reach Articuno just fine, but walking back out of there using the cave's sort of like pathway, still to this day, I get wrong and end up walking around in circles for a minute before I remember which ladder you got to take to get out. So there's a nugget there. There's an Ultra Ball in here as well, and I think the other one was an Elixir, which is in one of the little stones by where you push the strength boulders down to, yeah, max Elixir, where you reach Articuno's a little bit, just a little bit north from there. So in here, I can't use Surf with Pikachu because my character will just end up walking, but you always get pushed here if you fall into the water, and in that little cranny there is an Ultra Ball. So that's just 3 in here, and just let me walk around in circles just for a minute while I remember my way back out here. Which, whenever I go into Seafoam Islands, I always take a Pokemon that knows Dig. Or in theory you can use an escape route, but it's because I always dig out of here, I never quite remember the way to get out. And I have actually resetted games on cartridge when I was a kid because I got stuck in here and I couldn't find my way out. And I remember it because I had a level 100 Blastoise, and it ended up getting hit by an Aurora Beam and got frozen, and I couldn't even get my PP points off to... Alright, there was a Moonstone there. And I couldn't actually get my PP points off to get Blastoise to faint, and I couldn't get out of the dungeon, so I just set the game. So there's I think it's a max potion, no, max revive in that little spot there. There's one more in Pokemon Tower, and fortunately it's right at the end, right where you get the secret key. In the top left of the room there's a rare candy, which, yeah, Pokemon Tower always confused me a bit when I first tried to come through here in the game as well, because it's a little bit of a maze. Yeah, you catch a Ditto in here, you can, in certain versions, of course, but you can also get a Magma in here if you're on the right version of Yellow, Blue or Red. So, yeah, Yellow, Blue and Red are all the same for the item finder items on this. Silver to Gold and Crystal have variations, but it's only very slight. So I actually just get this trainer just to knock me out, so I don't have to get out of Pokemon Tower. Sorry, the Pokemon Mansion. So from here, the next ones are upon the Victory Road, which there is a Game Shark to have all 8 badges, and before starting recording, I actually went past all the trainers, which actually turns off their requirement for you to get the badge. So I could walk through here without having to beat all the gym leaders. And I actually walked past one here. There's one a little bit to the right. It's in the tree. I'll go back and get it. There's one up in that little corner spot there. And I think the other one was an Ultra Ball. Okay, Victory Road itself has 2. One's like right at the exit, and the other one's just before Moltres. So I'll clip over the barriers, so I don't have to go through the whole process of going through Victory Road. I reckon this game's Victory Road was actually one of the hardest out of all the Pokemon games. Like, all of the Pokemon games that came after this, Victory Road was a lot easier. This one was quite brutal because you had Geodudes and Gravelers, which know self-destruct, and they can just do like massive damage And the encounter rate in here is actually really high as well. Trainers Pokemon, they're all around like level 40s and stuff, so like it's actually quite tough going through this Victory Road. Gen 2, Silver, Gold and Crystal, that Victory Road was an absolute joke. That was way too easy. Gen 3's was challenging but not too difficult. So usually you push that boulder through and you push it to the left onto one of the buttons to get rid of that barrier. And the last one is just there, just by the exit. So usually here now you'd go on and you'd go forth to defeat the Pokemon League, which would unlock this cave by Cerulean City, which players of this would know is sort of like the very short post-game of Pokemon Yellow, Blue and Red, where you can enter this cave to catch Mewtwo. Mewtwo was level 70. You catch him in here, and overall he is probably the best Pokemon you can get in the game. His special stat ends up like 350 plus, which is like just really overpowered. In fact, Psychic Pokemon in Gen 1 in general were overpowered. They had a weakness to Bug, and because of there being no good Bug moves, we have collected 2 PP ups. There's 3 PP ups in here, and I accidentally crashed the game. I ran out of the barriers, but I'm in the same spot. So there's the 2 PP ups we collected. There's another one sort of like not too far away from Mewtwo. I mean, you can pause the video where you need to, and going along and finding the items. So that's the last PP up there, and I was going to end this by getting my Pikachu to get knocked out by Mewtwo, which I thought would be a good ending, and I got killed by Golbat, which is I found quite funny. So well, that's all the items in the game. Hopefully this helps. Here's a little thing a lot of people don't know. If you jump over a ledge like this, Pikachu will start to dance. I don't know how many people know about this, and I don't see this on a lot of videos, so I'll see you later.